So let's win this thing and make that a meaningless game. No, instead they completely focus on Miles Garrett, only score 6 points, and now they have to play in an all or nothing game next week. Welcome back to Two Generations, One Mike. We have an awesome episode today. We are coming up on the quarterfinals of the college football playoffs and the last week of the NFL regular season. A lot of playoff spots and divisions up for grabs. Pat, good to be with you here.
Hey, bud. How are you? We
Great.
had a good Christmas together. That was fun.
Yep. Yeah, and then before we get started with the episode, just a quick word from our sponsor. Looking to transform your space from the floor up? At Thornton Flooring, we've got you covered. From residential and commercial flooring to professional installation and custom bound rugs, our experts help bring your vision to life. And with Roomvo Home Visualizer's cutting edge technology, you can see your new flooring in your actual home or office before you buy. Visit one of our 3 locations serving the Sioux Empire, North Sioux City, and Rapid City, including our brand new showroom off the T exit and I-29 on Baker Landing Avenue. Thornton Flooring, style, service, and confidence underfoot. Call 605-368-1300 today. That's 605-368-1300. All right, now and to start the episode, we obviously have to see Pat's jersey first. So what do we have today, Pat?
All right, buddy. Well, first of all, super stoked for this episode. It's going to be so much fun. I mean, again, we're in the heart of the football season in terms of everything starting to come down to crunch time, both in college and pro. It's just the nature of the beast in terms of the calendar, where we are and what's going on. So we are football heavy again, but a lot of fun stuff to talk about. And then we're going to touch on a couple other sports, so that's going to be awesome as well. Here you go. As you know, Ben, what have I been saying? My favorite jersey color, powder blue.
Yep.
You give me a powder blue of any jersey, I am ready to go. I freaking love powder blue. And one of my most favorite players to watch back in the heyday of the late 80s, or the 80s and into the 90s, Warren Moon. Warren Moon when he played for the Oilers.
Nice.
Yes, good stuff, good stuff. Let me give you some stats about this guy, Ben. Unbelievable. So he went to the University of Washington and was there from 75 to 77. And then it was called the Pac-8. And he was the 1977 Pac-8 Player of the Year. He goes undrafted in the 78 draft. Wow. And went into the CFL. He played 5 years in the CFL. Hang on, let me get my glasses, make sure I got that right. He played from 78 to 83. All for the Edmonton Eskimos. Won the Grey Cup all 5 years. The
Really?
Edmonton Eskimos won the Grey Cup all 5 years.
Wow.
He was the MVP in the game twice, and he was one time the CFL Most Outstanding Player, is what they call their MVP in 1983.
Gotcha.
He then gets picked up by the Oilers and plays for the Oilers from 84 to 93.
Okay.
During that time, he was the 1989 Man of the Year, NFL Man of the Year, 1990 Offensive Player of the Year, and a 9-time Pro Bowler. I mean, that's just unbelievable. 2 times he was the NFL passing leader, 90 and 91. And then he was the 1-time NFL touchdown leader in 1990. He then went to the Vikes, which I remember him playing for the Vikes, 94 to 96. Seattle 97-98, and the Chiefs 99-2000. So he was in professional football. He was a professional football quarterback for 22 years. Just awesome.
That's actually amazing. Yeah.
It is really amazing, and he was fantastic. Man, those Oiler teams were fun to watch. Oh gosh, he just slung the ball all over the place. Love Warren Moon. So there you go.
That's really impressive for an undrafted player to have that career.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that
Yeah.
amazing?
I mean, see that much with quarterbacks.
No, super cool, and to see how he actually used the CFL to his benefit.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, now getting into the episode. So we have to continue on with NFL here. Just finished up week 17, going into week 18. We still have a lot of divisions up for grabs here. let's start it off with the Patriots. So the Patriots clinch the AFC East with them beating the Jets, and the Bills lost to the Eagles.
Right.
Um,
That was a brutal game. Uh, I don't
yes.
know. You and I watched it just a little bit, and
Hmm.
the weather was horrible, horrible. And it was actually there was an interesting. So it rained. For those that didn't see it, it was like the Doppler showed like the division line between rain and snow was just north of Buffalo. So it had to just be freezing cold with it raining the whole time. And there was actually an interesting point in that game where Tom Brady was talking about the two different types of gloves that wide receivers wear.
Hmm.
So, well, and quarterbacks for that matter. But um, he was talking about how, of course, what's become popular in the last, I don't know, 10, 15 years or whatever, are those super, they're technically not sticky, but super grippy rubberish gloves that you see everybody wearing. When
Yeah.
it rains, those become slick as all get out. And so then they actually switch to leather gloves
Oh,
and you get
wow.
better grip when they're soaking wet. So thought that was kind of an interesting little touch that Brady added on his 20 some $1 million Fox broadcast contract per year.
Yeah. Yep. 30 some million.
Thank you.
Yep. So the Patriots right now, number two seed in the AFC. They, according to ESPN, they currently have a 23.6% chance to move up to the number one seed, but the Broncos are likely to hold on to that. Broncos next week are playing the Chargers, and the Chargers announced that Justin Herbert will not be playing in that game. It is Trey Lance.
Yeah,
So,
they've already. I mean, why would you if you're the Chargers? You've already got the playoff
seven seed.
position moved
Yep.
up. You're not going to move up to the division. You know
Mm-hmm.
the Broncos had the division locked up. You got to rest that guy. I mean, he's had a heck of a year, and he's played through a lot of injury.
Oh,
And
man, he is tough.
oh man, is he tough! It reminds me back in the days of when Philip Rivers was in his heyday with the Chargers. There were a couple times that he played. I mean, this is one of the things that made his teammates just respect the heck out of him. I mean, he had a knee that was torn up. I forget all of the ailments that he had, and he would go. I forget if he. I'm forgetting. He had a major injury that happened in a game, and he played through the rest of the game. I want to say like an ACL or something. I mean, it was major,
Yeah.
and he played through. I mean, his teammates after that would run through a brick wall for him.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, and Herbert seems like the same way. His teammates seem to love him. And
Well, he's playing with a broken left hand. He's, I mean, it's unbelievable.
he played 6 days after having that surgery. That's just
Yeah,
amazing.
it's crazy. Yeah.
Um,
So, but why would you not rest him? I mean, it doesn't make any sense to play him.
yeah,
You're not. It's
absolutely,
not like you're going to pick up a playoff spot.
for sure. And then another game I really want to touch on here. I thought this was really interesting. So, Browns Steelers. Miles Garrett, obviously one game away from the single season sack record. Going into the game, there were reports saying that the Steelers' goal was to not let Miles get the sack against Aaron Rodgers. The Steelers, they have a chance to clinch the division. If you're a coach, why are you focusing so much on Miles Garrett and not saying to your guys, hey, forget this whole Miles Garrett sack thing? We have a chance to grab the division right now, get the 4 seed, and make the playoffs with one regular season game left, which is against the Ravens. So let's win this thing and make that a meaningless game. No, instead they completely focus on Miles Garrett, only score 6 points, and now they have to play in an all or nothing game next week.
And I mean, how fun is it going against? I mean, the Ravens and the Steelers. I mean, those guys have battled and battled for that stuff. I completely agree. You could have wrapped up the division and then rest your people that need rest. You know, the following week. I would agree. I don't know why they focused so hard on that and then lost sight of the big picture. It's like not being able to see the forest through the trees is that analogy right there.
Hmm. And it's not like the Browns had an amazing game either. Shador threw two interceptions. You had a chance to do something, but no, instead you were completely focused on this whole Myles Garrett thing, and you completely lost sight of what's important for you.
The big picture. Did you see, talking about Shador for a second, did you see him make that scramble run, gained a few yards, and it was third down, and gained a few yards, gets tackled, gets up, does the, I don't know, all the stuff that guys do today, and he's like 4 yards short of the first down?
No,
I mean, and then you
that's
come out to punt. I just don't get it sometimes.
that's
And
fun.
I hate sounding like an old man. I just hate it when I sound like an old man. But I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
You get up and run over to the sideline because he didn't get the first down. Stop with the
Hmm.
shenanigans. Goes back to my days of Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders scores after just an amazing, unbelievable run, and then goes over and hands the ball to the referee.
Yeah.
I mean, that to me, that's the most ultimate kind of handing it to the referee, going, "I'm going to be back. Why don't you hold this for me?"
That would never happen today, but yeah.
Right. Exactly.
All right, looking at the NFC South here. So this is my division. Panthers lose to the Seahawks, but also the Buccaneers lose to the Dolphins,
Right.
and the Falcons beat the Rams. So this sets up for a crazy Week 18. So I want to make sure I get this right here. So the Panthers and Bucks play each other in Tampa.
With
And
the Bucks, with the Panthers leading him by a game.
correct. And the Falcons play the Saints. So, in order for the Panthers, my team, to win the division, they either need to beat the Bucks or the Falcons to beat the Saints. So, they need one of those to happen in order to lock up the 4 seed and win the
Yep.
division. So, really interesting. I also just want to talk about for a second how crazy it is the way the Bucks have fallen off this season. They've also dealt with injuries. That's been a big part of it. Baker's not 100%. Mike Evans and Chris Godwin missed a good amount of this year, but I mean, beginning of the year, they were winning every close game. Baker looked like the odds-on favorite to win the MVP through the first half of the season. I mean, and now they're losing to the Dolphins, who are not even playing Tua. They're playing Quinn Ewers.
Right. And
Looks
they had
great.
everybody. Or they had, I mean, Evans was back. I mean, it wasn't like, Evans has had kind of an up and down year from an injury standpoint. But you had him in there. You
You
had
had
Godwin.
Godwin in there. Yep.
Yep.
So
Brutal. Brutal.
hopefully the Panthers here can get it done one way or another. Um,
Well, and you talk about the NFC South. How about the AFC South? And you've got the Colts. How would you like to be a Colts fan, going 7-1? I mean, you're the darlings of not just the AFC, the NFL. I mean, everyone thought it was such a cool story. You had Jonathan Taylor running all over the place. You had the rebirth of Daniel Jones.
yep.
I mean, so many cool stories. And then they go 1-7.
Yeah.
So brutal. And I know Daniel Jones got hurt, but he didn't get hurt and then start that 1-7. They had already lost a couple games.
Three or
And then when
four,
he
yeah.
went down, because I think Rivers has been back, this is third game, second. He had his second game. Yeah, this was his third game this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And yeah, they had won, yeah, the half Riley Leonard game in there. But also I think it's funny. So they made that Sauce Gardner trade, a couple
Yes.
weeks back at the trade deadline.
Right.
So when Sauce Gardner was on the Jets, they were 1-7. Then he gets traded to the 7-1 Colts and has now gone 1-7 again.
Brutal.
Which he's been hurt most of it. It's not like it's on him, but
No.
really funny the way that worked out for him.
Yeah,
And then missed the
it is.
playoffs.
It's tough. God works in mysterious ways.
Yeah. And then, like I mentioned earlier, last night the Rams lost to the Falcons, so that they can no longer win the division. They will be at the sixth seed in the NFC. Man, that is a really scary sixth seed. Um,
Oh, yeah. Well, the
it's
NFC West is just sick.
it's amazing how good the NFC West is because I was saying to you before their loss last night, if you took away divisions and just looked at the NFC from a pure record standpoint, the top three seeds are all NFC West. It would go Niners, Seahawks, Rams,
Yeah.
which is crazy. You have three teams in your division that are that good.
Yeah. Well, and so what's crazy is you're going to have a 1 seed and then a 5 and a 6 seed.
Yeah.
And it's the exact same situation as the Vikings and Lions last year going into this last game of the season, where you're playing for on the line for the winner and the loser is the division title, and 1 seed and loser travels the next week.
Yeah. Which is
Brutal.
a brutal spot to be in.
Brutal. And that's exactly what happened to the Vikes last year. They lost to Detroit in Detroit. Both of them had what they both have 3 losses or whatever. Either way,
Two,
and they
I
would have.
believe. Yeah.
And following your philosophy that you just mentioned, they would have been 1 and 2 seed. You would have just been playing for that 1 versus 2 seed.
Yep.
Instead, because of how it works, which division leaders get the first 4 seeds, the loser drops down to the 5 seed and travels the first weekend for the wild and is the wild card, and then of course the rest was history. Vikes went in and just got absolutely smoked by the Rams. So
Yeah. And so it's Seahawks at Niners next week. They have ESPN has Seattle as a 1.5 point favorite. So, it'll be a close game. Should be at least. I do think it's amazing though, what how well the Niners have done. The fact that they're playing for the number one seed in the NFC with how many injuries they've had.
yes,
You have Nick Bosa out for the year. Fred Warner has missed almost half of the regular season. He might return for playoffs, but still missed a good chunk. Kittle's missed time. Their receiving core has been all over the place. No Ayuk, Pearsall, and Jawan Jennings have both been hurt throughout the season. You had Mac Jones in there for a long time. You've barely had Brock Purdy,
yep.
which I will say he's looking great
Well,
as of recent.
so cool. And if you remember, coming up on almost 2 months ago or a month and a half ago, you and I were talking about what do you do when you have a hot backup quarterback playing,
Yep.
and your starter coming back. And we debated that a little bit, had a fun little back and forth on that, because we were saying, do you keep riding Mac Jones? Because as you said, what a heck of a job filling in.
Yeah.
But then, which makes me think of those the backup commercials for Progressive, and they call in like DeVito for the family picture because the kids can't get it together.
Yeah.
Those commercials are so awesome. Or is it Teddy Bridgewater that comes in to replace the boyfriend, and the girl's talking because the boyfriend she doesn't feel like he's listening, so she calls in the backup, and it's Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah,
That's so good. So good.
Those are
Anyway,
really funny.
so Mac Jones does a fantastic job filling in, and then they elect to bring Purdy back into his starting role, and like you said, wow, fantastic job.
Yeah. So, and it'll be interesting to see, just staying on Mac Jones there for a second, who goes after him in free agency this summer. Because I think it could be, because if you remember, 2 years ago, before the Vikings signed Sam Darnold, he was the backup in San Francisco, same way, and then came out of there, got a starting job, and is now kind of proven himself as a starter. Kind of the same thing with Mac Jones. It
Yeah.
would be interesting if the Vikings went after him.
Okay, let me ask you this,
Yeah.
Ben. If you are the GM, if you're John Lynch, GM of the 49ers,
Yep.
as you've seen across the NFL, the backup quarterback is almost the second most valuable position on the team
Yeah.
because with as everyone says, as fast, strong, big, everyone's getting faster, stronger, bigger on the defense. And even though they try that, the NFL is doing everything they can to take the violence out of the game and make it harder and harder on defensive players to hit people. You see starters going down across the NFL every season for a handful of games. And as what we've just talked about with the Niners, it's imperative that you have a good backup. If you're Lynch, do you not go and make him almost a starting quarterback offer to keep him?
Okay, so I just looked it up. I thought he was a free agent this summer. He's not. So this previous summer, they signed him to a 2-year, $8 million contract.
Okay.
Um,
But I mean, take my scenario either way. What do you do?
I think you have to hear other NFL teams out because you're right. The backup is very important. You need to have a good backup, especially because Brock Purdy has had injury risk or injury history, is what I should say.
Yep.
But I mean, if a team is willing to offer a second round pick for him, second or third, I mean, do you have to take that?
Oh, okay. So you're talking about someone willing to deal for your backup. Yeah, that's a different scenario. Let me
Because he's
ask you
under
if you,
contract. Yeah.
yeah, but let take that out of it and say he's a free agent. What do you do as the GM?
You make him the best offer you can. Your problem is though, you have so much money tied up in Brock Purdy starting now with his extension.
Right.
There's only so much you can do and you need to be able to keep the weapons around Brock Purdy because
No, I know.
I mean,
It's so brutal.
it's especially being in the NFL that it is a hard cap. So,
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah, no.
that's
You're
about the
right.
best
You're
offer
right.
you can give him.
But you
And
figure, I mean, it's a 5 game. It would be interesting to see what the average lost time by starting quarterbacks in the NFL are. I mean, I'm sure it's out there somewhere. We just don't have time to dig for it right this second. But my point being, I mean, would Max Jones start 5 games in the middle of the season?
hmm
I mean, that is that's almost a third of your season.
yeah.
I mean, that's an important position, way more important than people used to think about it 10 years ago.
Yeah. But going back to your scenario, their issue is no matter how much they offer him or that they would be able to offer him as a backup, s- he proved himself enough that I think someone would come in with a $20 million offer and just
Yeah,
outbid you to make him their starter.
their starter. Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Just because there are teams right now that do need starting quarterbacks.
Yeah, you're right. And he did a great job. I mean,
Yeah.
he put his resume out there.
It's honestly the exact same situation as Darnold.
Yep.
How he was a starter, has kind of fallen to a backup, proved himself as a backup, and will probably get a starting job somewhere next year.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be a heck of a game, that's for sure.
Yes. No, absolutely.
That's going to be a heck of a game. I mean, I forget when it is, if it's a Saturday or Sunday game or Monday night or what. Well, it's the
Uh,
last year. They don't do Monday night on the last weekend of the season.
it's a Saturday game. The two
Okay.
Saturday games are Panthers, Bucks, and
Oh,
Seahawks, Niners.
oh
So
my
that'll
God.
be a good Saturday.
So,
Yeah.
so here's what's cool. It's kind of, I mean, it's not an elimination game. Not, well, the Panthers Bucks kind of is, but
Yeah.
it's not an elimination game for the Niners Seahawks game, but it's call it a playoff game basically.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun. That's awesome. I love regular season playoff games. It's so much fun.
I know. Especially too when the scheduling just works out perfect where the two division teams are playing for the division the last week of the season.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. You've got
Panthers, Bucks, Seahawks, Niners, and Ravens, Steelers.
so cool,
All
so
of those
awesome,
would be awesome. Yeah.
so awesome. And it's the last Sunday of the red zone. God, I always hate that
It is,
because it's
unfortunately.
always so fun when Scott Hansen comes on the first weekend of this season, and
Yep.
then the last weekend of the season is so sad because you're like, oh my gosh, one,
Uh-huh.
I can't believe it went so fast,
Yeah.
and two, now we've got 3 months of winter with nothing. I mean, we'll have playoff football, but no more red zone.
Yeah, no more red zone. It makes Sundays tougher.
Yeah, and in South Dakota, we're staring a couple months of just the doldrums of winter still to go.
Yep. All right, let's move on to college football now.
Yeah,
So
good,
the
good. Let's
31st
do it.
and the 1st, we have four big games. It's the quarterfinals. So the 31st, we have the Cotton Bowl, Ohio State and Miami. Ohio State is a 9.5 point favorite. Um, I mean, the way Miami has played this season, I don't think they're going to be able to beat Ohio State. Car- Carson Beck, when he throws one interception, it feels like he loses all of his confidence because then if he has one interception in a game, that probably means he's going to end with three or so.
Yeah,
And this Ohio State defense is so good.
yeah,
They're probably going to have three first rounders from their, or three guys from their defense go in the first round in the draft, and Arvell Reese, Caleb Downs, and Sonny Styles.
yeah,
I
and
think,
they're not going to lose anybody in the portal, really.
yeah,
I mean, they might lose one or two, but I mean, if you're a starter for
that's a
Ohio
good
State, you're
point.
not leaving uh, necessarily to
Mhm.
go, to try to find a place that gives you more exposure than Ohio State if you're a starter.
Yep.
Um, so, uh, yeah, I mean, they're a tough squad. I hope I don't necessarily I don't like either team just from I'm talking historically.
Yeah.
So I was a Notre Dame guy growing up just because that's what we had on TV back before, you had every game on TV. And so I
Hmm.
just always watched Notre Dame. So obviously I did not like Miami. But in this game, I'm actually kind of cheering for Miami in an effort to give a good, entertaining game. That's what I want. I don't want a blowout. It's one of those
Agree.
things when you don't have a favorite of yours playing, you just want a good, awesome game to watch.
Hmm.
So
Agreed.
that's kind of where I'm at on that game.
Yep.
I want Miami to be tough. That's the Rose Bowl, right?
That is the Cotton Bowl.
Or the Cotton Bowl. That's
Yep.
right. That's on the 31st, and then you have Indiana. That's right. Indiana and Alabama are the Rose Bowl.
Yep. And Indiana is a 7 point favorite in that game. Um, I mean, once again, Indiana, their offense is obviously amazing. You have Mendoza, the Heisman winner. You have probably the second best wide receiver duo in the country behind Ohio State. Um, but I don't think their defense gets talked about enough. The job they did against Ohio State in the Big Ten championship, I mean, they're good. And like we talked about last week, Alabama's run defense or run game has really struggled this season. So I think Indiana's better on both sides of the ball than Alabama. Um, once, like you said, I don't have a dog in the fight. Hopefully that game's close just for an entertainment factor. But
If I had $5 to put on that game, I definitely would put it on Alabama. Though 7 points is a lot.
yeah, that's true.
And for them to show the medal, the gut check to come back from being down 0-17,
Mm-hmm.
to Oklahoma in Oklahoma, it would have been so easy to fold your tent. Kalen DeBoer must have done. I would love to have listened to what he said in that locker room to get those guys to turn around and do what they did to Oklahoma in a very hostile environment. I mean, that was something else.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, 7 points. Jeez Louise, that's good. And then you've got what are the other two?
You got the Sugar Bowl, Ole Miss and Georgia. Georgia's a
That's right.
6.5 point favorite.
Yep. Yep.
Um, which Georgia, obviously, they have been trending in the right direction this season. This back half of the season, they have looked really good, and how they've slid up to that number 3 seed. Um, Ole Miss, though, I was worried about them after the whole Lane Kiffin thing, but even though they played Tulane, they looked awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
We watched
No, you're
that
right. You talk about
together.
Lane
Yeah.
Kiffin for a minute. Did you see the video of him leaving the? Let's see, it was LSU Houston in whatever bowl game they played in, and LSU lost to Houston,
Okay.
and uh, there was a video of him. They did. He had something to do there. I forget exactly what. If he was on a pregame show or something that was there at the game, but then someone videoed him getting into a Suburban and leaving the game before it was over, and people are just all up in arms. I mean, this guy just can't do anything right. I mean,
Can't catch a break. Yeah.
it's got to be so hard to live with just a microscope on everything you do. I mean, that's just brutal.
Well, especially in today's day and age of social media and filming. I mean,
Yeah,
every move you do is gonna get caught on camera.
yeah, it is. It's just crazy. It's crazy. So, yeah, and then Oregon,
Texas
Texas
Tech,
Tech. Yeah,
which even though Oregon's the 5 seed, they're a 2.5 point favorite right now
yeah,
against Texas Tech.
yeah. I
Um,
hope that's a good game. That should be a fun, good game.
I know, which Oregon can obviously light it up on offense, but man, that Texas Tech front seven is so good. I
Yeah.
I have a
My,
feeling this one just could be a dogfight. Which,
you want
and
to
I
know what
will,
my biggest problem is with this game?
yep,
I hate the new Orange Bowl logo compared to the old original Orange Bowl logo.
I like that's your biggest issue with the game.
I think the game's going to be fantastic. I hate the old Orange Bowl logo where the orange had the face on it and the little crown and everything, and now it's just a orange.
Yeah.
Yeah, so brutal.
All right. So for these 4 games, my question to you is, which underdog do you like to upset? Not cover the spread, upset.
Full upset.
Yep, full upset.
Okay, so let me ask you this question: Oregon is favored, but Texas Tech is the higher ranked player in the CFP.
Yeah.
So are you considering a Texas Tech win an upset because they're upsetting the favorite, or are they winning as the favorite because they're the higher seed?
Let's go with Texas Tech being the underdog.
Okay. Um, I think that um, I think that I'm gonna. You know what, Ben? I'm gonna take Alabama.
You're gonna. Wow, that's just surprising hearing from you.
Why? Because I can't stand Alabama.
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
totally. Oh, word for listener, one of the up-teen reasons that I'm not a big Alabama fan is because a number of years ago, when Ben was in college down in Tucson, Arizona, the Final Four was up in Glendale, just outside of Phoenix. And so we went to the Final Four. And that particular Final Four included Purdue, Alabama, uh, North Carolina State,
And
NC
UConn.
State, and I forget who the fourth was.
UConn. They won
UConn.
it.
That's right. And our seats were literally across the aisle from where the Alabama section was, and it was awful. It was awful just listening to them.
Yep.
Oh,
Tough.
good Lord, that was brutal.
Uh,
Anyway, but yes, I think there's something there after battling through what they did in Oklahoma again. I mean, I just harped on it a minute ago. I
mhm.
think there's something there. Again, I'm as far from an Alabama fan as there is, but if you're gonna make me put money on an upset, I that's just where I'm going. I mean,
Yeah.
it's tough to go on Texas Tech because they didn't play last weekend
hmm
since they had a bye. As one of the top 4 seeds. Um, but so I don't know. I just haven't seen enough of Texas Tech to know. So maybe with only having to make up, or to beat Oregon, with Oregon being the favorite, I just don't know. So I'm just going to throw it on Alabama.
Yeah. I'll go with Ole Miss. I think they're playing with the chip on their shoulder after the whole Lane stuff. Um, they
That's
did
fun.
against Tulane, it didn't seem like they had lost anything from earlier in
Yep.
the season when they did have Lane. They looked like the same team they have all year.
Yep.
Um, like you said, Georgia coming off a bye. I mean, obviously buys can be beneficial, but sometimes you are a little rusty coming off a bye. So
Yeah.
it'd
I
be fun if Ole Miss could make a little run here after all
and
they
Ben,
went through.
I think that's a fantastic call. I really, really do. You know, one thing that you know, you talk about playing with a chip on your shoulder and all that LSU stuff. That can really galvanize a team. I mean, you know, we've seen it over history. A lot of times you give a team some adversity off the field, and they use that as fuel.
Yes, 100%.
We a few episodes ago talked about the portal and the impact of the NCAA and their scheduling of opening the portal, and why they do it before the season is over is
Hmm.
beyond us. Um, there is a defensive back for Oregon that is going into the portal, thus is not able to play,
Yeah.
is not playing. That's ridiculous. I think that, and we talked about a number of episodes ago. We talked about the Penn State quarterback last year when Penn
Oklahoma.
State,
Yep.
yep, and he went in, and so this guy had to. I mean, he made the decision. I don't think any coach is going to harbor anything against his player. It's you don't be mad at the player, you be mad at the system, the way they have it set up. So I think that that's a really sad thing. The other thing that I wanted to hammer on, what was one thing I was going to hit on James Madison, who, as we know, played Oregon last week, and I think I'll take responsibility and say that I probably undersold how well James Madison played against Oregon in our episode last week.
Yeah.
Although the halftime score, I forget what they had at halftime, 0-3 or 6.
34-6.
Yeah, 6. But they had a heck of a second half.
Hmm.
I mean, I think they rolled up 500 yards plus or minus of offense total.
Scored
The
about
stories
30. Yeah.
and the stories we were reading over the course of this last week since last episode was that it was basically within Oregon's locker room. It was like they lost. There wasn't huge celebration and everything like that, apparently. Anyway, it just came out that James Madison is losing all 11 starters on offense and a number of defensive starters. Four, taking just the offense, 4 players graduating, 7 players going into the portal. Your offense is gone. Now, what's interesting, Ben, too, is that Signetti, didn't he go to Indiana from James Madison? I'm pretty sure he did.
So,
And,
yep.
and took a number of players when he left there. They're getting gutted twice in
Yeah.
the last, call it 5 years.
Yeah. It is amazing the way they were able to retool for
Another
basically
run.
quick in 2 years, and now they're losing
Yes.
everything again. Correct. Yeah. He went from James Madison to Indiana.
Incredible. I mean, I give that school credit for hanging in there. Holy cow. And now to be losing all their players again, that's tough. I just wanted to bring those points up regarding the portal. It's
I mean,
really
also,
too bad.
you look, North Texas obviously didn't make the college football playoffs, but they were close. Had a great. Were they 11-2 this year, something like
Yes.
that? Had a great
Yes.
run. I know
Yes.
they're losing for sure, both their quarterback and their starting running back, who were both awesome this year.
Yep.
So same
Yep.
thing with them. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Crazy. Crazy.
So we have players that are moving from pro basketball back to um, college, which is insane.
It's insane.
Yeah, it's
I don't
so-
get it. I mean, what are you think? You're much. You have your finger on the pulse of basketball much more than I do. So I'll do the lead in and then kick it to you.
Okay.
So you have a player that in the 2023 draft was taken as the first pick of the second round. So
Yeah.
basically the 31st pick. That was 2 years ago. He goes and plays in Europe or wherever, and is coming back, and the NCAA granted him eligibility, and he's going to start playing for Baylor mid-season. He gets to play. Doesn't even have to wait till the start of the next season. He gets to start playing for Baylor right now.
Yeah, which is
You take it.
is crazy. So this guy James Nagy grew up in Spain. He played for FC Barcelona, which a player playing in Europe for a pro club team like in FC Barcelona, that's not unheard of when they're still minors. But the fact that he then got drafted, which, and that's happened before too, where players get drafted and they stay overseas. The NBA team wants them to stay overseas to develop. Like that even happened with Ginobili for a couple years. This isn't unheard of. But then to now come back to college, when even though he hasn't been there before, that is crazy.
Well, and even there are players that have announced for the draft, and then in the time period from announcement to the draft, do some research and find out they're not going to go as high as they thought or hoped, and then they redeclare back into college. That's happened too. There's plenty of precedent of that over the last handful of years. But to
Yeah.
be drafted, technically be drafted as a pro and go play as a pro, and then come back and play in college and get to play right away in the middle of the season.
Yeah. And this isn't the only one. So there's another guy, Trenton Flowers. I remember him coming out of he played high school, then he went with the overseas route, playing in the NBL in Australia. Went undrafted, but signed with the Clippers. He's played in the G League now for 2 years. So in the professional basketball system, there's rumors that he's looking at colleges and that colleges have been talking to him to come back. And I remember scouting him, and I had a second round grade on this guy, even though he ultimately went undrafted. But he's been playing NBA basketball. And another one, which this is a pretty big name, Kenny Lofton Jr. He's the big power forward that you and I watch play. Big as in round, not tall. But this guy has played in NBA games. I remember watching him 2 years ago for the Grizzlies, and it was an end of the season game. Really didn't matter, so he got a lot of playing time. He had a 40-point game in an NBA game. And this past year, he won MVP of the Chinese Basketball League. So he's dominating overseas. And then he just said the other day that he's going to go to Louisiana, back to Louisiana Tech, which that's where he played basketball. He hasn't officially signed there yet. So whether he actually does go back there, but if he does, that is crazy. Someone who has dropped 40 points in an NBA game going back to college.
I don't get it.
It's messed up.
I don't get it. I couldn't agree more. I think once you're in the professional ranks, you're in the professional ranks. Someone brought up, I am not going to be able to remember where I read it. It was on Instagram, and someone said, "What if LeBron, finishes this season and decides he wants to play a year with his son that's at Arizona, and he goes to Arizona?"
That is exactly right. Which, me as an Arizona fan, I would think that's kind of cool. But I also get how it's messed up. Yeah, that would be crazy.
Yeah, I'm not a fan
No.
of this sort of move. I'll tell you what. I mean, I'm a sports fan first and foremost, and I love watching sports. I love watching lots of different sports. But the way that the college, and I've always loved college athletics. I women's basketball, women's volleyball, football. I've always liked watching college sports, and the college sports landscape has changed so much. I mean, when I was at Santa Clara, we went to all the soccer games. I mean, I've watched it all. I love it. I just like following sports, but I like watching all sports, but college sports especially. And to have it change so much in such a short time period. I mean, this NIL stuff has only been around for a handful of years, and to have it have such a tremendous impact on the moving and changing of just throwing everything out the door. I mean, to go from 0 to 100 and just throw everything out the door.
Mm-hmm.
And not even money. I mean, money, whatever. But I mean, just the whole process, the processes themselves. I don't understand. I'm going to keep watching. I'm not going to stop watching. It just is kind of too bad because it's just a seed that sits in the back of your head and you're like, just what is going on?
No,
I can't imagine being a James Madison University fan and having that happen. I don't know. I guess it happened at SDSU, South Dakota State, last year when Jimmy Rogers moved over to Washington State, and then he coaches for a year and moves over to Iowa State, and a bunch of those guys are going back over to Iowa State with him. I mean, that's tough stuff, man, for a fan base. That is really, really tough.
Yeah, I mean, South Dakota State had dominated FCS football for
A couple years.
3 years
Yeah.
or so, and then, I mean, this year, they made it to the quarterfinals, right?
I think so, yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it is wild.
Anyway,
It-
you know,
it'll-
and it brings up, when you and I were talking about this yesterday, it's the same thing in the golf ranks where, you have a person that's a professional golf, like goes the professional route,
Mhm.
leaves the amateur route and goes to be a professional. So that is what you are doing. You are doing that all day.
Mhm.
And to then, for whatever reason, you can't get there, you can't whatever, and then to go and apply to go back into the amateur ranks, that's a tough deal when you're I don't know. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that.
Well, yeah, like if some guy who has played in the whatever tournament as a pro, not an amateur, because obviously amateurs can still qualify, but as a pro,
Right.
let's say they're playing as a pro for a couple years, and then they still have a little bit of eligibility left, so they go re-enroll at Alabama or something. That would be crazy in golf.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Last sport I want to touch on here before this or that. So, the NBA. So there's two main teams I want to cover here. Right now, it's the Atlanta Hawks in the East. So
Right.
a super interesting situation that I'll ask you about. So Trae Young, a little bit into the season, got hurt for about 4 to 6 weeks. And the Hawks actually did well without him. Jalen Johnson is emerging as a superstar. I want to put that out there. He should probably win Most Improved Player this year. And then with Trae out, they started Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who's been awesome and will have a good shot at winning Sixth Man of the Year. So they held it down with Trae out. Now, since Trae has returned, they are 0-7. And have fallen to below 500 and currently in the 10th seed in the East. Whereas before they were around like the 6th or 7th seed. If you are the GM of the Hawks, and this is happening, are you starting to look to trade Trae? Or do you think this is just a little blip in the system and you let them figure it out?
I don't know. I mean, before you even start talking about from the GM's perspective, think about the coach's perspective.
Yeah.
Oh man, I mean that's tough. That's a tough position to be in because you wonder when you're sitting in the meeting room and you have the 12 players or however many, and Trae came back and you've gone 0-7, and they're looking at you like, dude, you have to make a coaching change to get us back on track. You're the coach. You're the manager of this team.
Yeah.
And so then the question as the coach, before you even get to the GM and do you trade him or not, is do you bench? Do you put him? You have him coming off the bench, which then you risk a huge blow to his ego. He's been the face of your franchise for the last however many years. He's making a humongous contract.
Mm-hmm.
but you put him on the bench for the betterment of the team.
Yeah.
The goal, I don't know. That's it's hard for me to say. I'm just a sports fan, so for me, the goal is always for the betterment of the team. When you start talking about all the other stuff that goes along with professional sports and egos and contracts and all that business, I don't envy those guys having to make that decision. That is for sure. I don't envy a professional sports coach.
Yeah. And then sticking with the Hawks here, so here's part two of this question. Um, Last year, the Hawks had the number one overall pick, and it was seen as a little bit of like a unclear slash weaker draft class. There was no Cooper flag like this year. So they picked Zachary Risache from France. Um, he hasn't developed like the Hawks have wanted him to. There's been rumors of that, and now they might be open to trading him. And it's also hard because after him, the picks were Alex Sarr, Reed Shepard, and Stephon Castle. All of them have shown clear development from year one to year two and are having good seasons. When you have a number one pick and he's not performing, he's been on your team for almost a year and a half now. How quickly should you be willing to move off of him?
Ooh, that's so hard. I mean, well, I'm going to get out of that by not answering it because I am curious in real quick before we move on to that, what you would do in the Trae Young situation from a GM standpoint. Are you putting him on the market?
I would listen to the calls and see what people are offering. I think so. Trae Young's not old yet. He's still in his late 20s, but I think you have a lot of good young pieces that you can be building around. And I will say they do have the Pelicans unprotected first round pick next year. Um, and this upcoming draft class is um, very good and it's also very guard heavy. So you have Darren Peterson, Darius Acuff, Mikel Brown Jr. So there could be a lot of good guard replacements in there. So I think it's worth listening to the calls.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Good. I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. Um, yeah. And then and the one that you just asked about, I forget what your question was there.
Do you trade your former first overall pick only like a
Oh,
year and a half into having him?
well, a lot of that I think goes goes not only what you're seeing on the court, but that the hard part about answering this sort of question is there's so much of it that you see that we don't see as fans,
Yep.
or analyzers or whatever you want to call us now. I mean, we have zero access to what they're seeing in every single day practice. I mean, you
Yeah.
know, do you see flashes of him getting it in practice? It's just not necessarily translating to the game yet, or are
Hmm.
you not seeing anything at all?
Yeah.
And there are so many of these that are throughout history that you've seen where there was the number one pick for the Pistons way back in the day, the kid from Europe. He was 18. Larry Brown was the coach of the Pistons and hated him and wouldn't play him. And,
Darko?
yeah.
He was number
Darko.
two behind LeBron. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And that poor thing just completely fell apart. You
Yeah.
know, you've got Kwame Brown back in the day when Jordan was acting as GM of the Wizards and drafted him, and that didn't pan out. Um, I don't know. I think that's very hard because, again, I'm just going to repeat myself for a second. There's so much more that these guys see every single day. Because as a professional athlete, obviously they're in the training center, they're in their facility, 8 hours a day or whatever, on non-game days that they aren't traveling.
Yeah.
What are they seeing? Are they seeing flashes of growth and then they just got to mold in the game part, or is it just not there at all?
Yep. Um, and then last NBA piece I want to touch on. So, the Spurs and Thunder played each other 3 times in 12 days. The Spurs won all three. Two of those wins were by 15 or more. And going into those games, the Thunder were only had two losses. Um, if you're the Thunder and up until this point you were by far the best team in the league, but you lose to the same team three times in 12 days, how scared do you need to be? Even though this is also middle of the regular season losses.
It was your second loss. Then you lost to them again a few days later. And then they lost another one in the middle there and then lost again to the Spurs.
Yeah.
You're still crushing everybody. I don't, yes, for the playoffs that are still months away, you're going to need to get something squared away that you don't have squared away yet, obviously. But I don't raise the emergency flag at all. I don't think. I mean, because you've been blowing everybody else out. They were winning every game by, I forget what the average was, 16 points a game or something like that was their average win spread. Mm-hmm. So there's just something there, but again, it's going to sit in the back of your head. And by the time, April, May, and June come for the playoff push and then the playoffs, you've got to make sure you get that figured out.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Spurs are going to be there too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, they're a top five team in the West right now.
Right.
I agree. It's not time to hit the panic button, but like you said, they're dominating everyone else. But come playoff time, they do need to figure out what they're going to do against Wemby. Because Chet, looking at the film, Chet is not the answer. He is getting dominated on both ends by Wemby. It's actually kind of funny to watch because Chet's the smaller version of Wemby. Like a skinny but tall guy who can shoot the ball, put the ball on the floor a little bit. One of the better shot blockers in the league. But Wemby in every aspect of the game is just the better version of Chet. And when they go head to head, Wemby kind of dominates him. So something needs to change for the Thunder's defensive scheme against Wemby, whether it's... See, but the problem is, too, you can't just double Wemby on every play because the Spurs have proven they're a good enough team outside of Wemby. Even when Wemby was hurt for that month or so, the Spurs were able to hold it down. They have great players on their team. So
yeah, they do.
It will be very interesting to see. Gosh, how fun would that be if we got a playoff series of those two teams come May?
Yeah,
that would be fun.
Well, I mean, that has potential to be the Western Conference Finals, and the Western Conference Final. I mean, the conference finals in the NBA are always so much fun. Eastern Conference, Western Conference, both of them have had teams that have stayed at the top, for a number of years and made a number of runs in those years, and so they would always be. I mean, when the Lakers and Kings, had some awesome playoff battles back in the day when Webber was on the Kings and Shaq and Kobe were on the Lakers, and oh my gosh, they had some fun series going all the way back in the West, with Lakers and, in the finals, Lakers, Celtics. But, the Lakers had some fun battles in there. And then in the Eastern Conference Finals, whether it was Bulls, Pistons, Celtics, Pistons, those were brutal.
Yeah. Well, and what's fun about the Thunder Spurs is both these two teams are so young and so well positioned for the future. This could be the Western Conference Finals matchup for the next 10 years.
Right, which would be so fun.
Awesome, yeah.
Yeah.
Just because we haven't seen a rivalry like this since Cavs Warriors, which they weren't even in the same division. That was more of a finals rivalry, but still.
Right, yeah. No, it's good. When you get two teams that match up a lot in the playoffs, makes it so much fun, especially when they do it a number of years in a row.
Yes.
Whether it's the finals or then down into the conferences, I don't care. It's just awesome.
For sure. All right, and then last segment here, this or that. So we're going to do a little breakfast edition here.
Okay.
So I want you to rank these three.
Okay.
What's least favorite? Waffles, pancakes, French toast.
You want me to go first or you want to go first?
You got it.
Me? I'm going first?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, as always, in my this or that, I can't answer just boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
I need to do some analysis here real quick.
Uh-huh.
I can confidently rank French toast third out of the three.
Yep.
Um, now, again, I'm going to say love all three. So, although French toast is third,
Yeah.
I'm you put some French toast in front of me with some nice syrup and butter. I'm going to town. I'm just fine. I'm
Yeah.
just fine. Thank you. But between waffles and pancakes, there's a couple different things that I need to analyze before I decide which one is first.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a waffle, is it Belgium and fluffy? And then do I get to melt butter on into all of the little tiny little squares and then put syrup all over them, like a Belgian waffle that's served at a breakfast buffet where they, make it in front of you, flip the thing over, flip it back. Oh, those are so good. Let's talk pancakes for a second. I have made pancakes at home for you guys since you were little,
Uh-huh.
and I love my homemade pancakes, but I'm not doing anything special. It's the Aunt Jemima pancake mix
Yep.
mixed with water. I mean, that was it. I didn't even do the hardcore one with eggs and oil. I mean, just water. But I just took special care on how long we cooked them, and then syrup.
Yeah.
There's also a couple individual places that make very good pancakes. There's a place in Okoboji, Iowa called O'Farrell Sisters. Their pancakes, I've never figured out exactly what's in them, but there is a taste within those pancakes that is unrivaled anywhere else.
Yeah.
Um, but I think for the sake of right here, right now, I'm going to go waffle, pancake, French toast.
Okay. Um, I agree with you. With French toast being at third. Um, I love a good piece of French toast. Will never turn it down, but I do just enjoy waffles and pancakes more. Um, I will say that overall, I do like pancakes better. I feel like I've had more good pancakes than I have good waffles. I think it's easier to screw up a waffle, whether it's being too dry or just not a Belgian waffle, like you said. Whereas pancakes a little tougher to screw up, and I personally just enjoy that like fluffy texture of a pancake more than I do the texture of a waffle. And then
Sure.
yeah, butter it up. You got syrup on there. Um,
Yep.
yeah, you're good to
Don't
go.
don't give me any fruit and don't give me any. Do not give me fruit and do not give me whipped cream. Just butter, syrup on any of the three.
Correct. Yes, I
Don't screw it
completely
up.
agree with that. Yeah.
Don't screw it up.
Oh man, no, that's fun.
That's
Um,
awesome.
Great episode here.
Oh boy,
We
Ben.
will have a lot to talk about next week with football.
Next week is going to be crazy.
Yep.
Crazy.
Oh, yep. That'll be fun to talk about. I
It's
will
going to be
see.
fun. Oh, one other thing that's going to be kind of interesting. Next week would have been, I got to give my little golf plug real
Yes.
quick.
Yep.
Next week would have been the beginning of the new season, and they would have been playing the Century Tournament of Champions at the Kapalua Plantation Course in Maui. About 9 months ago, Maui's been in a major drought. If you recall the terrible, horrific fires in Lahaina and all of that, they decided the Maui Water District or whatever decided to cut off the water supply to the plantation to the Kapalua Golf Course Plantation Course, and
Hmm.
it died. It browned out, and so then they had to make the final decision to cancel the event, which unfortunately is also reportedly going to have a $50 million economic impact on the downside to the area, which is very sad. So
Yeah.
PGA Tour is not going to start until not this coming weekend, the following weekend with the Sony Open, which is staying where it was supposed to be played. Um, and that's over in Honolulu.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That
So
that's
got to
really.
give my golf plug there.
Yep. Love it. I
Yeah.
can't wait for the start of the golf season now in two. You said Sony opens in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Can't wait.
Yep. Yep.
Awesome. Great episode. Can't wait for
Great
next
episode.
week.
Get ready for next week, everybody. Make
Yep.
sure you come back because next week's going to be crazy. We're going to have to recap those playoffs for the college football and getting ready for the first round of the playoffs of the NFL after this crazy weekend of division leaders playing each other.
Absolutely. Yeah, can't wait. Make sure to follow us on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram to Gen 1 Mike Pod. Thank you guys, and Pat, I'll see you next week.
All right, bud, I love you.
Love you.
Talk to you later.